Okay, we get to the first of 7 big Maryland Million stake races for purses of 100,000 or more. The starter stakes are nice purses this year, 50 and 60,000. But here's the Maryland Million Nursery, a big 9-horse field here. 9 horses that are Maryland sired are going to be in the Maryland Million Nursery. 100,000, 6 furlongs. We have a video spotlight here on Pascal Chant for Lacey Gaudet. Good-looking debut win for this 2-year-old son of Etched. Edgar Prado, the Hall of Famer, will ride Pascal Chant in the Maryland Million Nursery.
Good effort to win by a nose. It was a gritty effort that may have taken a little bit out of him. He didn't run quite back to that race. Second time out, finishing 4th. Behind a good-looking horse, though, Dynamic Asset. One more great time. Who's up against him again on Saturday afternoon. One more great time. Looks like he'll be tough from the John Robb barn in there.
Yeah, that's I pick. I pick one more great time in my exacta. I pick Jamaican Don. Can Jamaican Don do it here? 2-year-old son of Freedom Child, a 9-length winner at Thistle Downs, first out against Maiden Special Weight, a good second against Stakes Company, last out at Delaware. So speed on the inside, out of town connection shipping in here with Jamaican Don for the Maryland Million Nursery.
Yeah, a Thistle Down trainer tie there, Jason DaCosta, but he's also winters down at Tampa Bay and does okay down there too. So interesting, a shipper coming in here. We don't know what kind of horse he is. He's got some good numbers. Country Life would love to see this horse win. He's by Freedom Child, off to a good start.
Good speed from the inside, good second in that restricted stake up at Delaware. The AE horse in here, where she told me to go, beat him that race, but I'm with you. One more good time is going to be probably tough and possibly a single in that early pick 5 for
the
me.
Deliveries continue here, Maryland Million. It's good to come in on an off day like today, see everybody setting up down there, the tents, the Maryland Million VIP area. Things are really coming together here at Laurel Park.
And just Maryland Million, it's a Maryland Sires program, and in the Maryland Million Nursery you have 3 up-and-coming sires. One more great time, sired by Great Notion. He's an up-and-coming sire up there at Northview Stallion Station. Jamaican Don by Freedom Child, he's at Country Life Farm. And the 4, Pascal Chant by Etched, who stands up there at Bonita Farm. And of course, Bonita Farm, the birthplace of the Maryland Million, with Bill Boniface, Chick Lang, and Jim McKay up there at Bonita Farm. Let's hear what trainer Lacey Gaudet had to say about her 2-year-old by Etched, Pascal Chant. Here's what she had to say about the Maryland Million Nursery.
He's doing great. He ran a fantastic race in the A other day. He was not a disappointment at 4th at all. There was a very tough open field, and he's come out of it in great order. He had a great work under his belt the other day with Edgar on him, and I think I'm hoping he'll be confident with him after that work.
All right, yeah, she gets the Hall of Famer Edgar Prado to ride this 2-year-old in the Maryland Million Nursery. Comes out of a tough race, comes out of the same race as One More Great Time. VIP Code, who was 3rd in that race, came back to win. I like the fact that Lacey gets the Hall of Famer Prado to ride her 2-year-old, but I'm still going with Jamaican Don, my top pick in this race.
Well, you're rolling the dice that the horse will like Laurel and shipping in and the whole 9 yards, but I can see that for sure, the way he's going, and he's got the numbers, the figures to win. He's got tactical speed.
All right, Ty, who do you like in this race?
One more, the 9 horse, one more great time. You look at the running lines in here, and this horse has been probably running against the best horses. Beat VIP Code, who came on to win an allowance last race, just finished behind Dynamic Asset. You see Barry Lee in there, who was running up in stakes races up in New York. So I think one more great time is going to be really tough from that outside post.
Yep, okay, I agree with you. Let's turn the page here. Another Maryland Million stake race here, the 4th race. Nice Maryland Million Sprint handicap, 100,000, big field, 13 horses here in the Maryland Million Sprint for 100,000, going 6 furlongs on the main track. They open this race up to Maryland bred, so you have Maryland sired and Maryland bred horses here in the Maryland Sprint. They only did that with 2 races this year, the Maryland Million Sprint and the Maryland Million Classic. And yeah, big field here. What do you think about this, the Maryland Million Sprint with 13 in there, Dave?
I think Nick Aradala Scarlet Rocks, who won this race last year, looks at the competition, and Kieran McGee's got to be shaking his head. Now which way do I go to? I got the Classic here. They're both tough races.
Right.
I mean, you got Blue Moon Ace, Easy River in here. Struth was very capable with his top effort. It's a really good race. Lewis Field, where did his last race come from? At 10-1 an upset, he drew off like a 4-5 shot in 109-2 and winning that restricted allowance race.
And real quick, Ty, while we're talking, there's Lewisfield. Yeah, let's show you this nice win against Allowance Company. Got an 84 Beyer speed figure in this win, Ty.
This was a very impressive win. Drew off, won by 20 lengths at Charlestown the race before this, but I see this race is a ton of pace in here. I see Blue Moon Mace, who's probably going to be the heavy favorite in here, even money or possibly less, but you got Victory Chimes, you got Vim, you have Lewisfield, who are all pace horses. This could possibly set up for a deep closer to pick up pieces late.
That would be
Rocking on by. Let's hear what trainer Steve Casey had to say about his 6-year-old Maryland bred who's made almost $500,000. Rocking on by. Always comes with a late rally. Likes to get checks. Been second 17 times. Has won 6 times. Okay, we'll get you the Steve Casey soundbite here in a second. But yeah, you're looking for a closer. Rocking on by could benefit from a hot early pace.
Easy River, definitely one of the closers for sure. The red hot Claudio Gonzalez barn. He's by Not for Loves. Leads the Maryland Million Sire honor roll still after all these years. Now that he's gone, I think 35 Maryland Million wins for the great. It's going to be a long time before they eclipse that record. But he's certainly a closer in here. Blue Moon Ace has run 2 dynamite races though in Kevin Patterson's barn, including Coalition Stakes where the teletimer was smoking at Timonium in 1:15-1 for 6.5. That's booking over that track.
And horses like Blue Moon Ace by Malibu Moon, that's a Maryland bred who got into the race, and also Rockin' On By, who's by Rock Hard 10. He gets into the race because it opens up to Maryland breds. Let's hear what trainer Steve Casey had to say about his veteran sprinter who likes it here at Laurel Park. Rockin' On By.
He's doing fabulous. He's been a great horse to train. You know, he's honest as can be. You know, been very hard to get the wins from him, but he's always second, third. You know, he's just a lot of fun to train. Well, like a lot of speed up front, it looks like it's going to set up that way, so that'll help us. We come from so far back, you know. So I'm looking for a good pace, and we'll come running.
Ready, big horse. All right, Rockin' On By, good-looking 6-year-old Maryland bred. And yeah, if there's a fast early pace, Taylor Hole, very good come from behind rider. And be good to see Rockin' On By finally get the money here in a big race at Laurel.
Yeah, Blue Moon Ace coming out of the DeFrancis Dash, and though it was a short field, the race has been rubber stamped as Whitmore, who was the beaten favorite of that race, came back to win.
At Keeneland, was it grade 2 or grade 1?
That's
grade 2.
Grade 2.
Grade
So
2.
trying to remember.
It was a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Sprint, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So and he was not on the best part of the track, Whitmore, that day. Blue Moon Ace was sent hard in that race and beaten only a neck by Troublicious. Actually, the last 2 runners in the race came back to run 1-2 at Keeneland there in the next start. So the DeFrancis Dash very live, and Blue Moon Ace comes out of it.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough. I picked Blue Moon Ace on top over Struth. Struth's going to be very tough, a good second behind Blue Moon Ace in the Coalition at Timonium. Got a strong 92 Beyer in there. So a big field for the Maryland Million Sprint, 13 going to post there. If you had to pick one, Ty, who would you pick in there?
Well, I'd probably pick Blue Moon Ace just by the rep pass form ever since been in Kevin Patterson's barn. But I could see a pace duel and a pace meltdown and a big price. So that's what happens with these kind of races where you have 22s and 44s and it just melts down at the front.
All right, so big field there in the Maryland Million Sprint. Let's turn the page. Another stake race here in the 5th, the Maryland Million Lassie. Big field here in the Lassie, 11 2-year-old Maryland sired fillies, and what a race this is. I think the Maryland Million Lassie is going to be one of the races of the day. We have 3 video spotlights to show you, 3 talented fillies. Let's start with Limited View. Limited View is going to be my top pick in the Maryland Million Lassie. 2-year-old filly by Freedom Child. She had a good-looking debut win here at Laurel Park. Tried grade 2 company at Saratoga. That was a little too tough, but she came back and regained her top form to win a nice allowance race here at Laurel Park with the Hall of Famer Edgar Prado aboard. Prado's back aboard. And I remember talking to Salzman Jr., John Salzman Jr., the trainer, in the winner's circle after this win, and he said he kind of had to train her a little harder to have her calm for that race, and he thinks she's going to be better, more sharper, more fast for this race. So limited view with that speed on the outside, and the Hall of Famer Edgar Prado going to be awfully tough.
Margie's Money, 2 for 2 coming into the race, looking for 3 for 3. Blinkers going on. Pikachu Princess. Pearl Gem was kind of with the grain of the track, I thought, in the maiden score. But Mary Epler has a nice filly on her hands there, the daughter of Frisian Fire. Here's a good stat for you, thanks to Keith Fusel, who gave me this morning. In the last 5 years, I'm sure he'll use it on the handicapping show. Mary Epler, with horses coming off of maiden dirt sprint wins, coming back next time out, 6 for 20, 13 for 20 in the money, and a big positive ROI. This filly's got some talent. There's plenty of speed in front of her. And she's not a filly that gets double digits back.
We have all kinds of video for this race. You're talking about Pearl Gem. Let's show you the debut win here at Laurel Park for this Frisian Fire filly. If we have it, let's show you Pearl Gem. And Alex Centron's going to ride for Mary Epler. I like this filly in her debut at 12-1. Came with a late rally with Katie Davis aboard. Gets Alex Centron, top rider here at Laurel Park. So yeah, she's going to be tough. Hopefully she doesn't get too covered up early on, breaking from the 3-hole.
Nice stride on her, Ty.
She does. She's got a good stride. Started in the waiver claiming that level. Broke a little slow this race and made a big run. Was a little awkward down the stretch, but you expect to see that in a 2-year-old. Just going to improve and learn going forward. Might be a big jump up in class with that 2 outside horses, Limited View and Margie's Money in here for Pearl Gem. But that was a good debut win.
Limited View and Margie's Money, the only 2-time winners in the race. We showed you Limited View. Let's show you Margie's Money. This was a good-looking win. She had to survive an early duel, Dave. She was 3 wide going into the far turn, and she survived that and repelled a challenge here, even though she's on her left lead. So a good-looking, determined win by Margie's Money.
A little regression off a sharp first-out win against Maiden Special Company, but she's got early speed. I mean, I'm not knocking that victory at all. I mean, she's very quick on her feet. She's got a good draw to the outside.
A good 61 buyer figure in there. Katie Davis stays aboard. Pikachu Princess could be a little bit shot underneath. Finished second to Enchanted Star, who's on the AE in this list, but Enchanted Star did finish 6 lengths behind Margie's Money earlier in the year. So I think it's really going to be probably a 2-horse race from the 2 outside horses.
All right, one of the races of the day, I think, the Maryland Million Lassie. Let's show you one more race, then we'll get a quick commercial break. Race 6 is a starter race, Maryland Million starter race, going 9 furlongs on the Exceller turf course, rail at 70 feet, big field here in the 6th race. Let's see, we have field of 14 here, and let's show you Grecian Prince. Grecian Prince is going to, again, that's my fault. This is going to be for the 6th race. Grecian Prince for race 6, and this was a good-looking win here at Laurel Park against Allowance Company, going a mile on September 8th for Hugh McMahon. Now Hugh McMahon gets Katie Davis to ride this 4-year-old son of Smarty Jones once again. Grecian Prince going to be one of the horses to beat, I think, in race 6.
Grecian Prince, I think, is probably going to be the pace of this race. There's not a ton of speed in here, so he's probably going to take Katie Davis is probably going to take this horse, try to go gate to wire. You got a little bit of speed from Open the Bank, the 8 horse on the outside. The big question is the turf and the distance, I would say, for Grecian Prince.
That was on the dirt, but this horse did have a good-looking second going long on the turf against Allowance Company over the summer here.
Horses on the outside, Zen's Land, Soup to Coop, Slip and Drive, all have good turf records in their past, and I don't think they'll have any problem going a mile and an eighth. So I'm kind of maybe sticking outside in this starter stakes. And kind of a blow-up horse is 0 for 9 in the turf. Fletched, I thought, ran a big race, beating 2 lengths to He's One Wild Dude. Last out, beaten 2 lengths at 66-1. I'm going to use him in the tries.
Well, this is a starter handicap,
Yeah.
and you see the nice lightweight assignment with the journeyman rider, Xavier Perez, in at 109. So that could show up here in this starter handicap.
Yeah, I don't know if the X-Man's going to do the 109, but, I tell you, he can get a long shot home, that's for sure, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Dave, you talked about Zen's Land, you mentioned, and I think if it's a very interesting horse. Jamie Nuss gets this horse back to what Jane Sibeli had. This horse is going to be right there. I think you're going to go to a good price. Haven't seen the morning line for this race yet, but I think you should get an honest maybe 5-6 to 1 around the 12 Zen's Land.
Yeah, I was sticking outside here. Just don't know which way, really. It's a really nice wagering race. You're looking for prices.
I think the 9-year-old Soup de Coupe going to be very tough in this race for Billy Campbell and Steve Hamilton. The Soup de Coupe, my top pick in race 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, race 6 will be the first leg of the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6 on Saturday. Let's get a quick commercial break. Still 5 more races on Jim McKay Maryland Million Day to talk about right after this.
In the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Either way, you win. Have a stake in the race with ExpressBet.
Okay, welcome back. Let's start with race 7 here. The Maryland Million Distaff Handicap is going to kick off the late pick 5 on Jim McKay Maryland Million Day. This Saturday, it's a $100,000 event for filly mares 3 and up, going 7 furlongs. Big field, 9 Maryland sired filly mares here in the Distaff. Crab Cake's going to be your heavy favorite. Everybody loves Crab Cakes. Everybody loves the name. She's a nice filly, though. Let's show you her last win. September 15th here at Laurel Park. 3-year-old filly by Great Notion in top form right now for trainer Bernie Alton. This was a good-looking win. First time she faced older horses against 2 other than Allowance Company here, and she just blew them away. Crab Cakes in top form right now.
Yeah, top form, 2 back-to-back. Really nice races. The Miss Disco, then this race. She was really eager to go on the bit early in the race, and I thought maybe that would take a little something out of her in the stretch, but found an extra gear. I thought that was her best race ever lifetime. She's coming off that. I don't think she's going to peak. I think she's just going to hand them their lumps, the Crab Cakes.
Crab Cakes popular in the dining room. I know they're on every buffet. Going to be popular in the windows. Probably going to be a single on a lot of people's pick 5s. Probably a single. On my pick 5, I do look at My Magician, the 3-horse Claudio Gonzalez trains. Good win in a stakes race 3 back at Delaware. Good win at Timonium last time out. Going 6.5 on that bull ring, but I think Crab Cakes is going to probably be too tough for anybody else in this field.
That was my favorite race of the Timonium meet. My Magician and Lina Best Fit.
Yep.
It was the last time I cashed a bet.
Yeah, you got a nice 9-2 price on My Magician at Timonium. You get a nice price in the Distaff as well, because Crab Cake's going to be a heavy, what, 3 to 5 favorite probably, right?
Yeah, I mean, she's going to be a single on many tickets. But you're right, Ty. My Magician's won 2 out of her last 3. And Crab Cakes gets caught napping. My Magician's got a really nice surge to her. We've seen that before. Her last 2 races, 2 wins in the Gonzalez barn have been really sharp.
All right, let's turn the page here. Still 4 more to go. Let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, still 4 more to go. Just checking my math here. Race 8's the Maryland Million Turf. Big field in here. 9 Maryland sired horses in the Maryland Million Turf. 3 and up, $125,000 is the purse. Going a mile on the bowl game turf course rail at 17 feet. And we have a video spotlight. One of my favorite horses, Talk Show Man for trainer Amy Smith. The 7-year-old going well right now. 7-year-old by Great Notion. Here's his win against Allowance Company last July here at Laurel Park. Going a mile. Got a strong 93 buyer in this win. We see the same kind of effort from Talk Show Man Saturday, and he's going to be awfully tough to beat.
In 2015, he ran in the Maryland Million Classic on the turf, but I just think he's a slightly better. He's won in the dirt before. I just think he's a much better turf horse, especially going a mile. Now, he's 7 now. Has he reached kind of the peak in his career? It doesn't really matter. He's got a lot of back class. Maybe a horse like an up-and-coming 3-year-old, I think, is going to run a big one. Some kind of magician. He's run 3 improving races in a row at 3 different tracks, Laurel and 2 New York at Saratoga and Belmont. And Trombetta gets 2 really nice works into him at Fair Hill. He could be the now horse at, I don't know what price he is on the line.
Well, we'll get the odds. I'm glad you brought that horse up. We caught up with trainer Mike Trombetta this morning. Here's what he had to say about his 3-year-old son, a street magician, Some Kind of Magician.
That one I'm pretty excited about. He's improving. He won in New York. The mile's a question mark for him, but it's time to find out. He's pretty handy. He could probably put him wherever he needs to be.
Okay, so Trombetta say he's pretty high on this horse here. The mile a little bit of a question mark, but he's in very good form and doing well right now.
I'm on some kind of magician. I love him. I'm going to use him on top. He brings up a good point. The one time this horse did do 2 turns down at Gulfstream in January of this year, finished 9, beaten 13 lengths. So that's a big question mark. Talk Show Man is a little bit pace dependent. You do have some good pace with Spartianos in here, the 4 horse, who finished second in this race last year. So he could get a decent pace to run into and cutting back to a mile from the distance. So I do like Talk Show Man, but Dave, I'm with you. I'm looking at the horse that's probably has the best potential or upcoming potential in the race, some kind of magician.
And a lot of times, when you see a horse that's run a poor race at the distance, I love to see that then the layoff. So whatever happened took a few months. They gave him some time away. I mean, it doesn't mean he's going to hate this distance of a mile or he's strictly a sprinter. He's bred to go the distance for sure. The mile should be no problem, and like the way he's coming into the race.
All right, Talk Show Man, some kind of magician, Grandy Flora, do that dance. Nice field here for the Maryland Million Turf. That's race 8. That'll kick off the late pick 4. Let's turn the page here. Race 9. Maryland Million Ladies, $125,000 purse. Filly and mares, we're going 9 furlongs on the Exceller turf course, rail at 70 feet. Nice big field, 10 Maryland sired filly and mares here in the Maryland Million Ladies. Let's show you Barrel of Dreams. Here's a win up at Saratoga late August against a nice first level allowance field. Got a strong 86 buyer to win this race. 5-year-old mare by Not For Love coming to town for trainer Charlton Baker. Barrel of Dreams going to be awfully tough in the Maryland Million Ladies.
But is she really almost a horse for a course? Couple of wins at Saratoga this summer, a couple of wins at Saratoga last summer. So that's 4 I count there out of 6 lifetime total. So she'll have to transfer the form to Laurel.
And I don't want to knock anything against the horse. That was a good win. We saw 2 back and 3 back winning up there, but all summer Saratoga was playing really speed favoring to biased horses. This is a little bit different track. It's a little heavier. So Barrel of Dreams is definitely going to be tough to beat, especially winning that first level allowance 2 times back. Great soul. Tom Proctor horse, the 8 horse, is really interesting to me. Has won on the turf before, so the turf's not going to be any kind of issue. Has been running in state-bred restricted races up in Pennsylvania. Has been competing. I would toss the last race. Something happened. Tommy Proctor, Ashley Crescenzo's back on board. I think the 8 Great Soul is going to be probably a decent price. I'm not sure what Keith is going to make on the horse, but I'll be interested.
She's got speed. Barrel of Dreams has speed. I'm looking for somebody out of it, maybe like a Northern Smile. The far outside, I think Kelly Rubley has managed this horse perfectly to set her up for the Maryland Million Ladies here with her best race. She was 90-1, I know, but that was in the all along last time out against On Leave and tough horses like that. She was favored. She was favored last year in the Maryland Million Ladies against Devilish Love, who's back in the race again this year. So I think she may be a bit overlooked. I know that she's, I believe, 5-1 on Keith's Morning Line.
Yeah, you have to respect her, I think. Devilish Love, the defending champion for in this race for trainer Tony Dutrow. She could be getting back in good form. Trainer Mike Trombetta has 2 horses in here, Magician's Vanity, and that's the 4, and the 6, My Sister's Sledge. Here's what Trombetta had to say about his 2 filly mares and the Maryland Million Ladies.
They're both doing good. Vanity's going to run back on quick rest. We just acquired her back from the guys in New York last week. And My Sister's Sledge, we've been pointing towards this. She had a real good 5.5, just ran out of ground. If she rates well, she can probably do the mile and 1/8 just fine.
Okay, he was talking about My Sister's Sledge there. Had a very good second against Allowance Company last out. Gets Pimentel by Etch, so you would think she'd like to stretch out in distance. She broke her maiden going long on the turf earlier this year down at Gulfstream, so Trombetta will probably have a decent price there on the 6, My Sister's Sledge.
I have a feeling this is going to be one of the races where you'll see some decent pace up front. And somebody's going to be closing. Maybe many horses will be closing the stretch, and it could be one of those 4 or 5 way type photo finishes, open in the last 16th of a mile at least.
All right, so it could be a nice running there. Will be a nice running there in the Maryland Million ladies. Let's turn the page. Feature of the day, race 10, the Maryland Million Classic. They open this up to Maryland bred, so you have Maryland sired and Maryland bred horses here in the Classic. 12 horses entered in this race. This is a $150,000 race going 9 furlongs on the main track. And let's show you the two-time defending champion, Admiral's War Chest. This was his win last year here at Laurel Park. He won it the year before. He's trying to become the first horse to win it 3 years in a row. A2 Fast, he won it 3 years, but not 3 consecutive years. So Admiral's War Chest trying to do it 3 years in a row for the first time ever. He's only ran one time this year. That was back on October 8th. Dave, what do you think? Is a two-time defending champion ready to go and only his second start this year?
Well, I thought he ran a pretty good effort there in his only start of 2017. He dueled down inside against the grain of the track a bit there, as Dr. Mounty has a good trip in winning out there on the better part of the going. And the ultimate goal, obviously, is the Classic, to try to win it 3 years in a row. He's got the inside gate, and John Jones, just to his outside, should be sharp second off the layoff as well.
All right, John Jones going to be one of the favorites in this race. Ty, what do you think about this 5-year-old? Your thoughts on John Jones, and we'll see what Lacey Gaudet had to say.
I think John Jones is probably the horse to beat in here, but you have all the speed horses lined up 1, 2, 3. Todd Pletcher, the 3-horse. Jarenson is not going to let Admiral's War Chest or John Jones go off on a low lead. Probably going to want to set it up for the other Todd Pletcher, the 5-horse bonus points in here.
Yeah, he's a nice horse, bonus points. You know, he's got to take on some older runners here. He's a 3-year-old, and I don't see, he hasn't faced older, has he? This is his first time against older horses, but he's really run some kept good company. The addition of blinkers, Pavel, bricks and mortars on the turf in his last 2 starts. This race remains intact. The pace could be quite honest up front.
Yeah, I picked John Jones on top, a 7-time winner here at Laurel Park. Only 1 start this year. That was a turf sprint up at Belmont. Let's see what trainer Lacey Gaudet had to say about that race and how John Jones is doing coming into the Classic.
He's doing really well. We just really wanted to get a race under his belt, so it was kind of taking him out of his element against open company, went 3/4 on the grass. But he did everything we asked. He made a nice run. Kind of thought that he was maybe going to get there, but those sprinters in New York just didn't come back to him. And he came out of the race in great order, and we were prepared if the Classic opened up to be ready for it, and it looks like it all worked out. Probably to have the speed on the inside and lay off of him and just loom around him. He's going to be a little sharp, so it'll be hard to keep him off the speed, but I know that there's some other pace in there, so I think he'll be laying right off of him.
All right, so Lacey indicating a bunch of speed in the Classic. Doesn't look like she wants to be, up there in a speed duel early on. Hopefully John Jones can get a nice rating trip here in the Classic.
Yeah, he can rate a little bit, and that's for sure. Looking at closers, getting outside draws, Clubman, Ghost Bay. I mean, they're very capable horses. Clubman, a 3-time winner at this track. And a lot of people thinking maybe Ghost Bay as a turf horse, not necessarily. He's won on the dirt. Comes off a solid, I thought his best effort lifetime on the turf last time out. But here we go, that Bender legacy coming through perhaps on Maryland Million Day, one of the leading breeders of Maryland Million winners ever there, the Benders with Ghost Bay. And Horatio Caramanos has been known to upset the apple cart in stakes races everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. And a couple other horses in the race that might upset the Classic is trainer Mike Trombetta has 2 in here. Flash McCall running 3rd off the layoff, and Southside Warrior 3rd start since he claimed Southside Warrior up at Saratoga. So Trombetta with 2 shots in the Classic. Here's what he had to say about both of his horses.
They're actually both training good. Flash McCall, we can discount his last race a little bit. We ran him on a turf. I just wanted to try to get continuity into this race, and this will be his 3rd race off the layoffs. Usually that tends to be one of their better ones. It's a tough race now that it's opened up. And Southside Warrior, he's pretty honest horse too. Just thought the Maryland bred thing would be good to bring him back here and run him in the Maryland bred stuff, but I didn't know the Classic would open up. But if he trains well and does well, I mean, the possibility of a Maryland bred stake or something is definitely in the cards for him.
Yeah, Southside Warrior could be the real deal. 4-year-old colt by Warrior's Reward. This horse ran a 90 going 9 furlongs on the main track at Saratoga against Open 40,000 Company when Trombetta claimed the horse. A decent third last out against Allowance Company at Park. Southside Warrior could be tough with Alex Cintron aboard.
Southside Warrior out of the two Trombettas probably has the best chance. Flash McCall needs an absolute pace meltdown in the front. Southside Warrior is going to be mid-pack, probably sitting behind the 2 or 3 dueling leaders, and then if that does, if the horses come back in that last furlong or 2 at the quarter pole, Southside Warrior could be a perfect pace or a perfect position to pounce and take.
He's going to have to try to get position from the outside, and I think that's kind of the negative for him. If he'd drawn kind of a middle post, just sit right off the speed with no problem, but he's going to have to try to work out a trip to that first turn run in this race, whereas Clubman a bit more relaxed early, can settle, and so can Ghost Bay, obviously. But we've seen him come from way back, double digits back, in some of his starts in the past, so he's been 4 or 5 lengths off the lead traditionally recently.
All right, so a big 12-horse field, Maryland-sired horses and Maryland bred's going to duel it out, and the Maryland Million Classic this year